상대가 워낙 강하다 보니까 제가 부족한 걸 더 느낄 수 있는 것 같아요. 더 열심히 해서 상대랑 반반 가기보다는 상대를 이기는 쪽으로 하고 싶어요.
There we go. And honestly, I've been watching a few Holder streams. He's been streaming. He's not been playing during the regular season. Guy speaks good English. He's actually very communicative to the chat. So confident in his own play, confident in the English language. That's pretty nice to hear. Hopefully we get to hear a little bit more of him going into the next year.
Yeah, well, Raz, it takes a little bit more than confidence
That's true.
to close out a game. If that were the case, then Icon would be the best player in the league. He would be the best player in the world because that guy has got so much swagger. But right now, Rogue Warriors, they might need at least a little bit of confidence because that game 2, that game 1 just does not look good against JD Gaming when they show this much, I suppose, passion and aggression. Rogue Warriors look like a completely different passive team. This guy right here, Doinby, where is this? Where's the emotion? Where's the fire? He's just getting outplayed.
Outplay. Remember, outplay comes down to, in a 1v1 scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, Doinby doesn't get outplayed, but his team's getting outplayed. Right now, when it comes to how they're playing around mid lane control, it's never a 1v1. Side lanes, never a 2v2 or a 1v1. JD are playing as a squad, and they're getting overwhelmed right now because when Rogue Warriors think that they can defend top lane with just SMLZ, he realizes he needs more people when he's playing the Sivir pick and has to concede the tower because there's just not enough people in their squad actually moving up top. And if they go top side, they get engaged on. It's a snowball effect because JD are moving so quickly on the one mid lane pressure that they just have.
And it seems like that's such an accurate way to put it right now, that JD are moving as a squad. They're playing as a team, whereas Rogue Warriors, they're a collection of good players who are playing together, almost solo queue-esque. Certainly, we're still seeing them maneuver and try to make plays. For example, the dive onto Yagao that we saw in Game 2. 4 members collapsing for what should have been an easy kill, but JD are even making easy kills into fights, into turnarounds. And if your first step is, okay, we'll take one turret, we'll take one kill, maybe a dragon, and JD are willing to go tooth and nail over that, then Rogue Warriors need to either come up with an alternative plan or try to fight themselves so that they can take the fight back.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to be able to convey to the audience is when we look at just the laning stats for both Doinby and Yagao, you would say, well, Doinby's a god because he's number 1 of mid laners during the playoffs. He has the experience difference, the CS difference. He may not have the solo kills, but he has control in the laning phase. But then you contrast that with Yagao, and he's actually negative in experience and the CS difference at 10. But that's because he's actually moving for the next play. They have so much focus towards the objectives, which is towers, the scuttle crabs, the dragons, that he's willing to actually leave his own lane. And it's not as though he's completely conceding the laning phases. So he has actually the most solo kills for mid laners at the moment in the playoffs. So it's just the way you play and plug into your team. Right now, they're not doing a good enough job of being able to support Doinby. That's been what they've been focusing on trying to gank, make happen. Yagao's able to leave those situations unscathed. In fact, they re-engage so consistently with more members.
Yeah, and JD Gaming are able to not only just find the re-engage, but then take the next step after that re-engage.
Yeah.
Take the turret, take the dragon, take the Rift Herald. It feels like so many times during that game, too, we would say, and during that replay, they took, and during that replay, and during this replay, they took this. It's never just one thing for this team.
That's why this team makes me so damn tired, because you try whenever you get into a replay. Now looking through my lens, you look at a replay, you want to be able to explain it, and then there's already a team fight, as you already mentioned, happening. And it's like, do I just talk about the team fight? Is this a vicious cycle that's never going to end? Because JD keeps moving, they keep you on your toes.
And look at the man on your screen, Doinby, looking rather frustrated, perhaps, by how this matchup has been playing out. Can he ignite the fire that his team needs to get back into this? Because the only way Rogue Warriors take 3rd place now is through a reverse sweep. JD Gaming, they're going very, very far into this. This could be not a miracle run anymore, but a deserved run for this team.
Yeah, JD can make that run, and they're doing a hell of a job at doing just that. And we're talking about the pressure starting to pile on to Doinby and Rogue Warriors. I remember watching Doinby streams, and one thing, if anything happens poorly, he just says to the audience, Misha. It's not bad.
No big deal.
No big deal. It's okay. Like, he can get past that. And for him, This is a large obstacle to go into because they need a reverse sweep to be able to get that third place spot. Remember, Spring Split, they got third place over Invictus Gaming. They were on fire. This is a completely different situation because we're talking about red shell, blue shell. It doesn't matter what it is. It's definitely knocking you over.
And Rogue Warriors need to get back up. They need to get on their feet and fight because JD Gaming are bringing out their A game. They are not hesitating. They are not waiting for the regional qualifiers to show that they are one of the better teams, one of the best teams in the LPL. Very well could be the third best team if they close out one more game against former teammate Doinby and his new organization. And he does not look happy.
Of course not. I think focus is the best way to encapsulate what he's feeling right now. He has to feel focused. He has right next to him a rookie, not having any games played and now put in a situation where, I mean,
Needs to clutch.
he needs to.
Yeah.
He needs to. It's like that Ricard situation, except, you know what? At least you played a few games in the regular season. At least you've got something underneath you and some focus. I mean, you've got yourself a leader by you, but this is a difficult situation. I wonder if that leader is standing strong.
We're going to find out as we get ready to enter Champion Select for what could be the final game between JD and Rogue Warriors. Coach Ohm and Coach Stake standing behind their teams as they get through the initial drafts. Aatrox goes through and immediately gets swooped up. And again, double support ban for Luma, and they're taking away Klid's Gragas. He's not primarily a Gragas player. He's just made a name for himself on the champion recently.
They just want some control in these team fights. Get the Alistar and Gragas out so they at least can have some ownership on the engage. And Tom Kench, because guess what? I mean, Tom Kench makes it super hard to get any poke or real team fights across, especially if you're behind. If you're behind, you're going up against the Tom Kench, you just get completely shut out in the fight. So there we go. Shut him out. Gives Rogue Warriors an opening.
That's the Sejuani you were talking about for QB a little bit earlier. He said, you said that he would have to find massive engages, massive setups for his lanes. Well, Sejuani, much easier to do that than that Xin Zhao because you don't have to worry about backing out of the fight, using that natural tankiness to keep you up. But now he has to compete with Zach, who can engage from over walls away. And if Klid is already that mobile on a Gragas, suddenly you put an elastic slingshot into the equation, things are looking even more dangerous.
And Klid's been only picking up that Zach because he's seen Ning picking it up in the exact same series. So he knows what Zach can do later on. So, yeah, you know, you're always wondering how you're going to be able to find SMLZ in the crowd. Just swap him out. Just pick him up. Bring him to your team.
We'll see what that is going to be
There we
as
go.
Doinby, very angry face, locks in Kled in the mid lane. So let me take it. Let me carry.
If you're in this kind of a position, go to what's comfortable for the player. Comfort because he's seen glory in the past on this pick. Harkening back to what was Rift Rivals. Hands in the air, being able to take down prey in an incredible situation, so why not? In this case now, he has to go up against a pretty beefy front line. JDG have already picked out for themselves LeBron, Zach, and Aatrox on the top side. I just don't see how he's going to be able to assassinate a carry with that many people actually forcing out the front line.
It's going to be real tough. But now we're seeing again double 80 carry ban towards Loken, Varus, and Ashe. We already talked about the Vayne that he took to emulate Uzi a little bit earlier in playoffs, but the Camille ban away from Holder. It looks like JD Gaming still trying to set up Zoom for a strong matchup up top.
And so that's the point. Vayne's actually a great pick into the Kai'Sa, but not so good into multiple engage points. So if he's looking at a Kled, Kled's going to be straying him down. Oh, wait a minute. He's not listening to me.
Ooh, Loken. He's looking at
do
those 518 buffs and saying she's going to be strong soon.
He's going to do
Wait,
it.
she's strong now as the timer runs down.
It's funny, because as I was talking about the Vayne, we might see a little bit more time before he picks it up for himself. Into Kled, it's actually surprisingly good. Remember, Kled doesn't build much resistances at all. He's a health stacker. And so who's going to be able to deal with that? Should be the Vayne. So we get to see now if that's the pick he goes towards.
Oh, but this would be even better if we could see Loken take that Jinx. That's his old signature AD carry. Xayah was what he took against Rogue Warriors last time the teams played when they took the win, but the Vayne is being looked at right now. JD Gaming, the clock is running down. 7 seconds on the clock.
5 seconds of just playing with my heart. Just do it now. There
and it
we
is
go.
Locked in. Loken taking up arms against his former ally, Yagao, even trying to make a name for himself on that LeBlanc in the mid lane. Again, his first year in the LPL, and he's already competing with the best, but now taking that Assassin LeBlanc against Doinby on Kled.
We got a Jax to follow up. We're in such a good game here in just the pick and ban alone. Because we talk about team play from JD. They're trying to flex from some individual play. LeBlanc, Vayne, find yourself in side lanes and challenge you. But then if we're just talking about side lanes, guess what? Lock in Jax for Holder. We get to see if he is really that carry player that we were looking for.
If JD Gaming ever make a mistake in one of those side lanes, you can bet your bottom dollar that Holder's going to be in there on the Jax, flapping away on that turret to try and break it down. But that means he needs to make it through that laning phase against Zoom on Aatrox. Zoom, one of the best top laners in the league. But that's all getting down into the matchups. We've got to talk about the fact that this is match point. JD Gaming, if they close this game out, they take a 3-0 over Rogue Warriors.
Sends a loud message to your fans, to your sponsors, but most definitely to Rogue Warriors that are just sitting at the end of the gauntlet, sitting at the end of the table, and they're just waiting for you to meet them. So JD sure have to go past EDG, but with how well they're playing, there's a lot of people that are going to be afraid on that table.
Oh yeah, they absolutely should be. As Rogue Warriors need to try and reverse sweep if they want to get back into this matchup and claim their own third place of the LPL Summer Playoffs. We know that neither of these teams want to show anything too in-depth because, again, the Worlds qualifier is still coming up in just under a week, and there's a chance that these two teams can play again. But you can see the emotional weight of this matchup is weighing on Doinby. He looks stony and silent, a far cry from the Doinby that we saw during summer.
Because you need an answer. Gauntlet's coming very soon, and you need the pride of a third-place win. You need that momentum. You need some focus going into the next play. If they just get cleaned out right now, what is the conversation going to be like? Probably none. So for the mentality of your squad, for some focus in what and how to play the game, get one victory. That's all your coach is asking you for.
Throughout the entire duration of 2017, Doinby was the heart and soul of JD Gaming. But now he's on a different org, looking across from that team in the third, fourth place match, and he sees that maybe he needs to do it again for Rogue Warriors. We've loaded onto the Rift for match point between JD Gaming and Rogue Warriors. Game 3.
You hear the Rogue Warriors fans are getting louder and even adding in an extra chant. Wait a minute.
It was 4, only supposed to be 3.
They do this a lot. Last time they went up against JD, they actually chanted over him. I'm just calling out Rogue Warriors fans out there. They want to get the energy transferred into the game so the players can hear them, because they know that momentum matters.
That momentum is so important for Rogue Warriors. Doinby specifically as, Killua. He's going to be the first target.
No.
The binding misses, auto attack lands as they just bully Killua away. SMLZ tries to control the lane as JD feign a leash and take early lane control against SMLZ and Killua. That is going to slow down Klid just a bit, but he's on Zac. He's got plenty of sustain, and he's happy to take that.
Yeah, he's going to be good for himself, just jungling on his own. And Loken and Lumao should actually just get to level 2 much faster. Of course, Target and procs coming through is going to make it easier for the melee matchup. And no flash, no HP for Killua is going to make it harder for him to contest. Wait a minute, nice
And
damage.
all of his potions burned right away. in lane.
Okay.
That's the flash. They know he has none. That's the stun landing. Loken's trying to chase it down. Still level 1. One more auto. Loken gets it. First blood. Lumao going down. The stun is ready. Loken looks for another trade against the SMLZ, but is unable to save his own carry as he ticks over to level 2. It's 1-for-1, but Loken gets it first.
That's real interesting, that Loken and Lumao recognizing that they were going to lose a kill for it, but they get first blood just on Loken. So, I mean, it's worth it, but I'm surprised that they actually did it. Knowing that they had flash being taken out of Killua, you could have played it slower, but they wanted that kill now.
Hardy trying to accelerate that bottom lane because remember, that's not just first blood, that's first blood on a Vayne.
Yep.
So things looking pretty happy, and look who's coming right on back. Clid at level 3 with Elastic Slingshot.
Oh,
Now
no.
Flash is ready for SMLZ. It's pretty short range this early on. Let's see if Clid, he's got 1 point in each of those abilities. Well, again, the slow lands. Killua's the target. Dark Binding lands, but a good spell shield keeps Killua from getting pulled in. Clid takes some damage as Kiwi's on the way down here as well, just in case Rogue Warriors were able to follow up.
But Clid did his job. No flash now for SMLZ. It's going to be super easy for JD to actually come back, return for another gank.
And we've got no recall yet from Loken, though he is up in summoner spells. He is not taking Fleet Footwork Vayne. So he's going to continue to suffer harass as Loken and Killua try to keep this wave pushed in and control it. So this is the window of opportunity for SMLZ and Killua to try and dictate the pace of the lane.
Yeah, lethal tempo. You don't get to see a lot of that for Vayne, trying to make use of the passive. So it's a good start. It's probably why they were willing to just take the early fight the moment that it happened, because the extra proc of lethal tempo early on just makes it great for skirmishing. So right now, I think Killua just has to watch out. He was under the eye of Vayne last time round. You give him an extra kill, so once he gets Cutlass, that's actually going to be difficult for Killua and SMLZ to survive in lane.
They're going to try and take it safe for just a little bit, but they do have tons of vision on that bottom half of the map. Control ward in River, very aggressive ward in the Tribush, and even another in Pixel Brush, plus that Scuttle Crab to make sure that it is safe. Kiwi, in the meanwhile, did look for an invade onto Clid, spotted that his blue buff still hasn't been taken, so Clid is still only level 3 and has been really slowed down as a result of that attempted gank bottom. So there is an opportunity for Kiwi to try to look for an advantage and speed up, rush that level 6 perhaps.
There have been a few times where Clid has definitely overstepped when it comes to ganking. He's ganked a few times. There was definitely a game where he just got massively overlapped by an enemy jungle. But it just goes to show what his strategy usually is in the early game. He tries so hard to get his side lanes ahead. Sometimes he just loses a lot of his own gold. So it makes a lot of sense for him this time around to basically go back, take top side. He tried. He just made it so his bottom lane excelled a little bit more. So it's going to be on Loken and Lumao to actually use the advantage they got from Zach to pay it forward.
Well, it's could be a while before we see that advantage actually cashed in, because there's a Vayne and a Braum. Kiwi's happy to continue to run off the back of this as he turns over towards the Krug camp. The Raptor was already taken by Kiwi as he's set to finish it off and just hops over the wall. Yagao gets damage onto Doinby as he dashes back. Ethereal Chains lands, but no follow-up in range from Clid.
He could stick around because LeBlanc doesn't have mana, but she has Ignite and a jungler. But yeah, he's going to stick around. So it's usually risky. You don't have the movement speed, the HP, but he knows that the follow-up damage is going to be easy to follow when he has Flash.
He's got that Flash, and again, if he's able to remount onto Skarl, Doinby, one of the best Kled players in the world, making a name for himself in Rift Rivals on that same champion.
He's inspired a lot of people around the world to pick up Kled in the mid lane, which is incredible to see. Definitely stopped later on when Bruiser's mid lane weren't a thing, but he plays it no matter what.
I think
he starts the meta.
Zyrene who said it best, is he doesn't look like a mid player playing Kled. Uh-oh, Holder could be caught to a dive. Flash auto would pull Holder back in, but that's teleport from Doinby to try and cover this. And will be completed at level 6. He can absolutely charge his way into the jungle or even charge back towards the mid lane, but Zoom is just trying to dominate this top lane. 15 CS ahead already and just denying minion after minion under this turret.
Yeah, I can see the Jax and why it would work in the top lane with how auto attack based Aatrox is. The issue is just the sustain. The sustain is definitely there for Zoom. The damage that is around his abilities are definitely stronger, and it's going to get overlap your counter strike. So early on, you're going to get out damaged, and Holder is really feeling that, especially since Clid has actually been putting some pressure. So that's where the CS margin's been coming up. At this point, now that he's got the Phage, he should be able to make up that pressure with the extra HP.
Now Zoom will try to break that apart. He went for a Kindle Gem first for more cooldown, and then is looking towards the Phage, so it is the standard Black Cleaver up top. But look at Yagao. He's actually pushed up in the mid lane and is trying to control the Scuttle Crab to potentially feign a gank top. Meanwhile, SMLZ and
Oh
Killua
my God.
constantly just controlling this side of the map. They don't
going.
see Clid there. Finally, they found him. They managed to land the stun. Lumao gets back out, and they're both pulled back in. Flash to get it forward as SMLZ finds the kill. Logan finds one. He's tumbling out of the way, but Kiwi lands the ultimate SMLZ. Oh, he doesn't have the flash. He can't catch up. Rogue Warriors, though, are on the board. They're getting these kills. Yagao just a little bit too slow. Can't get in there. As teleport, I believe, used by both of our top laners to defend that top lane.
I love what Loken did initially, though. He flashed in to stop the W from SMLZ from assassinating Lumao. So while that was nice, you know what? You still took too much damage to start the fight off. Lumao and Clid, not a lot of HP because it took some time for Clid to get there. So take a look at Lumao. How much damage he actually took. The W was trying to assassinate him. The flash actually from Clid to stop it to come through. But at the end of the day, the moment the help comes in from Kiwi, it finishes the job. I'm just happy that Loken gets out scot-free.
And even Doinby able to get in by charging to collapse for his team. This is finally Rogue Warriors matching the aggression from JD Gaming. They set the play up by controlling the vision around the tri-bush, by controlling push in both mid and bottom, and are able to collapse onto JD Gaming and find themselves a kills. Not only is it a kill, it's 3 of them onto that Kaisa at 3 and 0. But there's that auto attack matchup you were talking about.
Oh,
That's
here we
actually
go.
the World Ender. As he just hits a minion right in front, Holder's able to back away. There's no jungler over here, and Zoom gets forced out of lane.
Yeah, and this is going to be a pretty big wave here. No teleport here from Zoom, too, so he's sticking around because he wants to actually take the wave, so Yagao is helping him out. Good communications from both Zoom and Yagao, because had he lost that massive wave coming into his tower, that would have actually changed the matchup here.
Equalizing that CS between the two of them. It's still a 15-16 CS advantage for Zoom, but Holder happy to push in wave after wave now that he is on that Jax, and is still keeping him in lane. Zoom has not completed his recall yet. Meanwhile, Kiwi looking bottom as SMLZ and Killua maintain push.
All right, I mean, this is going to be okay. It depends if they can get the ranged ultimate from Sejuani to start it off.
Yeah, there's no summoners on Loken binding. Gets tumbled, but that means Tumble is on cooldown. They're backing away. As even the Scryers bloom, they see Doinby is missing. They have to be expecting this dive.
Yeah, they know what's happening, but just sticking under tower is the confidence there. They won't have teleport to back them up is the issue.
Now Clid looking for Holder up top. Manages to get some good damage. Doesn't take the Let's Bounce and just forces him away and stalls the wave for Zoom. But still, Rogue Warriors, they are over-indexing into this bottom lane. Could be looking for first turret.
Super persistent. And there's a lot of damage being taken here, so they don't even need to bring the Kled. This should just be first tower.
And that's the early Gwinsu's completion for SMLZ. Rogue Warriors finally get themselves on the board with first brick, their first brick of the entire series in this game 3.
Just nice persistent play from Kiwi. Just that SMLZ and Killua getting pressure from the last fight working well for them means that Vayne, who got that first 2 kills, not really turning it into anything. I mean, Vayne was trying to get an opportunity where he can isolate the matchup, use his Cutlass to actually force the fight, but it's just been a numbers game here in favor of Rogue Warriors for the first time really in the series.
It's already a 30 CS advantage, plus the 1 kill. That's roughly equivalent to a 5-2 in terms of those kills between Rogue Warriors and JD, SMLZ, and Loken. But still, it is a 1,700 gold lead. There's plenty of opportunity for JD to look for more set plays to try to get around this, because currently they're playing up top towards this Rift Herald.
And just taking a look at this, SMLZ having the 3 kills here immediately turns into a Gwinsu's Rage Blade. Gonna have to find out where that Fairy Charmer is going, by the way. A little bit of questionable.
Yeah, so he had the Doran's Ring first for mana so that he can constantly Acathian Rain onto the minion wave. I think he sold it to get the completion onto Gwinsu's and had just a little bit of gold left and ended up buying the Fairy Charm to give him more sustain for mana use in lane.
This means that he's probably eyeing staying on the map a little bit longer. Because these are pretty long laning phase, 3 kills, and look at this.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors, they're doing the same play that JD have done in both Game 1 and Game 2. Not only did they take first brick, but they're trying to convert it into more by using that momentum to swing up top and get damage onto the top tier 1. Teleport finally gets Loken back to base, but he still doesn't have his Blade of the Ruined King. And Zoom has got to try and rush bottom to defend against Holder, who's happy to start pushing this wave out.
Now they're finally getting pressure. This is just a complete change in attitude from Rogue Warriors. Consistently playing to SMLZ here, DoinB leaving his lane so often. So this is actually a really good changeup in Rogue Warriors.
And this was the style that Rogue Warriors brought when they first entered the LPL in spring, was playing towards SMLZ, putting DoinB on support-style mid laners. He's not on a support style, but he provides a distraction. He provides a wall to let SMLZ be the big carry later on, and then there's that threat of Holder standing just behind him.
Yeah, so they can segue into team fights a little later on in the game, but I love the double bruiser, double teleport, split push opportunities that you have. DoinB should be in the side lane, and so while you would usually say LeBlanc, put you in a side lane and see if you can assassinate a carry coming forward, I don't see there ever being a possibility of SMLZ in a side lane. It's only going to be Jax and Kled, and there's no way for her to really have that much damage in those matchups.
Will Yagao be able to roam around the vision and find a very important pick onto SMLZ or Killua? They're currently trying to hold top as Loken and Lumao push that wave in. Still about 25 CS down as Holder is keeping Zoom busy down bottom. No Triforce completed yet, so Zoom has a temporary item advantage, but Holder is already showing us how this matchup is turning out. Zoom actually did land the Infernal Chains. He's going to chase him down with another of the Darkened Blades. That's the third hit, a solo kill for Zoom. I'm sorry, Raz. I was wrong. I doubted him. And he made a lesson out of me.
He just heard you, man. Imagine the GX just zooms right in front of him. That was actually insane to watch. Holding on to his flash, so he knew that he was so low on HP, he was in kill range. I don't think Holder expected the flash to come through. I think he was holding on to his own flash. So just take a look at that. He probably thought he was going to be able to get out of that one pretty cleanly, but gets pulled back in. Has his own flash, but doesn't expect the follow-up. Flash at the last second as the animation's coming through. Really well done from Zoom.
That was nearly 1,000 damage with 3 hits of the Darkened Blade, crit spot, and a single auto attack and the comment. But now they're looking for Zoom down here. Remember, he just got a kill and continued to push with this wave. DoinB is going to bring Kiwi in as he activates the World Ender. DoinB trying to turn it around. Darkened Blade, he's stunned in midair, gets denied the ability to land. And poor Aatrox trying to limp away as quick as he can. Remember, he used that flash just a moment ago and ends up being locked down and will die. Meanwhile, JD turn their attention onto the Rift Herald.
Yeah, going for a trade here. So this should still go here for Klid, but that's still a great play coming through from DoinB, knowing that he doesn't just want to lie down and just really take the constant pressure coming in from JD. So he just answers back. Zoom may take the kill onto his Holder, but you can't still split push that hard when DoinB has his ultimate available to him. Well done from DoinB to get the kill back.
That's DoinB starting to open things up for Rogue Warriors. 4 kills to 3. Just about 2,000 gold for this team as they're still up a turret and forcing the teleport out bottom. Yagao looking for Holder, the Ignite! Oh my gosh, another solo kill for the Dumpling Brothers.
Yagao is playing it so well. You're right about the Dumpling Brothers. This is tag teaming it on Holder. He has no wave to go to.
If you were just saying, if that LeBlanc ever splits push, she's not going to be able to kill a Jax. Well, hey, we just saw how that worked out, but Kiwi, he's trying to force open a lane as he collapses with SMLZ into Killua to force Loken away from these minions.
He was just trying to hold the mid lane wave.
He was.
That's all he was trying to do.
And he had his flash, again.
Yeah, he did.
It's a sad day for Holder, as he needs to hold the weight under this pressure. You can see DoinB and Kiwi are in fact the tag team that are opening this game out. He's still on a Jax, so he's still going to be able to scale up and get towards that late game inevitably, but that slows him down quite a bit. And Zoom is working on the bottom tier 1 to try to equalize these turrets. Now Rift Herald was taken by JD earlier, so they don't need to worry about Rogue Warriors taking that, but there's still a lot of threat up here as Kiwi looking for the Glacial Storm. No, it's actually used, looking for the headbutt.
Yeah, you might just try and go for the tower, have the pressure, doesn't need the ultimate just yet. At this point, it's good that Rogue Warriors are doubling down on their strength, recognizing that Holder is taking a lot of L's, but it's not that much of a problem because they're not playing to him anyways. It's really just Holder trying to pressure the bottom lane. He was doing a good enough job at just that, you know, constantly pushing into the Aatrox. So Rogue Warriors are back on track to their plan, but the gold has really slimmed down. It's just a 1K gold lead now for Rogue Warriors, where before that it was actually in a pretty good spot.
And it should be noted where that gold is going. It's being spread pretty evenly across Zoom, Yagao, and Loken. They've all got a handful of kills, but look at that CS difference between Loken and SMLZ. Look at the item difference between the two of them. SMLZ at 3 kills, finished off his Gwinsus, and now is looking for the Nashor's Tooth, is very accelerated. And This is a style that Rogue Warriors are happy to play. If that Kaisa is able to pop off a snowball, if SMLZ is able to hard carry his team through this game, that could be a winning strategy for Rogue Warriors.
Especially knowing that going towards the AP build, the amount of tanks, bruisers that he's going to be dealing with. I'm actually fearing for Clid here. Clid should get some magic resist because at this point, if he ever jumps in, and if it takes too long, SMLZ is just going to blow you up. So once the Nashor's Tooth comes in, you have to have that in the back of your head because at this point in time, the AP threat is incredibly important. And they're still doing B. He's going to be able to provide the AD later on.
Doinby with his own Titanic Hydra and Black Cleaver as the two of them swap places.
Oh my
and
God.
look at that. Doinby's getting good damage. Yagao steps up to try and cover for him, lands the knockup. I'm not sure if that was a bait or not because they're just collapsing onto Doinby. He charges away but gets knocked off and pulled back in, but a black shield from Killua keeps him in place. Chelly drops a charge onto the mid lane, but Rogue Warriors defend it in time despite the auto attack. That turret stands 19 health, but it's still up.
So close. And you can say the same thing about Doinby. He goes in for what he expects a 1v1, but we had this conversation. There's
never a 1v1.
There's no such thing. It never happens. Clid and Lu Mao come out of seemingly nowhere to join in on the fight. So Doinby had to back up out there, blows his flash for it.
Well, never a 1v1 unless your name is Holder, in which case it is a 1v1.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But they, like you said, they're able to defend it and keep that turret standing. That gives them control over mid lane and most importantly, control over the river. Infernal Dragon spawning in 7 seconds. Now, Cloud was taken earlier as Yagao was forced to get away from SMLZ. And normally, the LeBlanc should be the one assassinating the AD carry, but they're even in levels, and SMLZ has 2 completed items. As Yagao still working him down. Sorry, he's at level 13.
That's the most crucial part is the fact that he has the Nashor's Tooth at this point. So he's going to be able to deal a lot of consistent damage. And if Yagao takes that much longer to try and deal damage, oh no, wait a second, SMLZ.
Pulling him back in. The target's Killua, activates a stopwatch, but that buys a lot of time. The light's bouncing. Killua flashes out of it. Binding onto Lu Mao. Yagao still looking for an opening. They get the black shield, they get the stopwatch, but they don't get any kills.
Now they had to back up on there. You saw how much damage they were dealing on towards Clid. At least they got the job done in blowing flash on Killua, but you already see just in this stage of the game how much damage SMLZ is outputting.
Now he's trying to move that momentum towards the mid. Teleport gets it in. Holder walks it up. There's no minions, but as 5 Rogue Warriors are able to get the rotation. Loken still holding up top. He's denying CS right now, which means if Rogue Warriors want to fight, they are free to.
And that's really smart. If you hold that top lane wave, let's say a top laner Holder in this situation, if he wants to pick up that wave, that's a long walk. So that just means that if JD ever get mid lane control, they can deny that next wave coming through from a split pusher or try and opportunize and get a kill there.
That's still so risky when you consider that SMLZ is still on the map. Yeah, you're slowing down Holder. Great. He's a Jax. He's finished off his Triforce. But you've got to start to worry about all of the threats from Rogue Warriors, not just that Jax. You already mentioned the Fiendish Codex is done. Looks like SMLZ is on his way towards a Banshee's Veil next with that own Fiendish Codex and Null Magic Mantle. If he was hard to kill just a moment ago, he's going to be even more difficult, especially with Killua just hovering around him, dropping down those spell shields to keep on denying it.
Yeah, hard to be able to get the kill on SMLZ. It's actually just allowing him to get consistent push. And to your point, JD actually can't even make a use of that top lane wave because even if Holder was there, they make a play, RRW are actually in such a good position mid lane that they can immediately answer with an inner mid lane tower, and that is not a good trade that you want to get for yourself.
That's very risky if you try to give that up. Doinby steals away the blue buff from Yagao, looking for his own Black Cleaver. Yagao trying to match his own second item, but Clid could be looking for Holder here as he's hovering deep inside of the jungle of Rogue Warriors. Zoom hops over the wall, lands the first knock-up. Holder leaps away. Remember, he's still got flash. The wave is going to be cleared out as Darkened Blade goes on cooldown. Holder, he doesn't know that this is a trap.
And based off the vision, okay, no one's going to be there. But remember, based off the vision alone, that would give Holder the confidence to walk up to the wave. Because he knows that his team is just around mid lane, so there's no way there's going to be a jungler in the area. Clid finds that opportunity to just hunt, to just look. There's something that comes out of it, great. You actually got not only just the kill, but even just the bottom lane inner tower to follow up. And there's no Baron that you can immediately look to if you're Rogue Warriors. So this is just a nice look to go for.
It's almost like a choice for Rogue Warriors of what they want to take. Doinby could use the charge and get his old team to group up and try to defend Holder, or he could just charge the Baron, get that Kai'Sa into the pit while Clid is trying to look for a dive, then use the Kai'Sa shred to burn it down. But again, Clid heads back towards this side of the map, constantly sweeping out the vision time and again. That's blue trinket utilized.
This is just annoying.
Ooh,
He's
that
going
one
in.
misses, but the elastic slingshot, ooh, stretching strikes, misses. But now they see Zach on the other side. Immediate pings for JD to back away from the Baron.
Yeah. At this point, JD recognized that's just going to be their weak side. It's a little unfortunate that Rogue Warriors as a squad back had a few control wars to basically play around there. They were not going to be in a position to just outright do the Baron. Once they actually get Banshee's Veil, they're going to be in a great position AP-wise, so the passive is going to be stacking for SMLZ. They have a lot of tanks there, so they can tank that for a long time. I think the next play, it's going to be easier for Rogue Warriors to just turn on the Baron quickly.
Now, as 5, JD are actually maneuvering around the Baron pit. They've got teleport for Zoom, so he can head bottom to try and cover for Holder, but he's already pushing that wave in. As JD are trying to set up a trap themselves, elastic slingshot on top of Ward. They see Clid. They're actually forcing the fight. Kiwi with the head slam, finds one, and JD, I don't know if they think they can take this fight. They've got the Morellas finished on Yagao. They've got the Guinsus finished on Loken. Even the Yomus for Zoom. If they find a squishy target, they can delete SMLZ, but they need to get through the layers of protection first.
Yeah, the first one being the headbutt from Sejuani. Because a few ways to play into the Zac, just stop him, just smack him out of the air. I know a few picks that have been great counters have been Thresh, Gragas. Sejuani is, as you already seen, people have picked it into it, not just because it's a great scaling pick, but also if you see a Zac coming through, all you need to see is the shadow on the ground. The shadow comes first, and so you can react to it very quickly. So, Clid's going to have to be a little bit more creative to be able to get the plays on that with the Sejuani involved. And the Morgana, too. At this point, you have Sejuani,
Real tough.
Morgana, the Banshee's Veil, and then a few bruisers that you probably don't want to bring into your team.
Hopefully, with all of that investment, Rogue Warriors can keep SMLZ alive because he has so much gold. He has so much importance for this team. And currently, he's acting as a mid-game baton. But a stun is ready. SMLZ, he's got the killer instinct. A flash from Zoom. He knows what's up. The moment that Kai'Sa is missing, you get out of there.
Yeah, 100%. They made those plays themselves, actually, when they went up against JDG. So they themselves have picked up the Kai'Sa and tried to go for side lane plays. So Zoom knows how it feels to be in the positive side of things. So he's just recognizing it, flashing away. Don't give them that opening.
Ooh, whoa, Loken steps up. He's chasing down SMLZ. Flashes up Loken. No way. Forces SMLZ out of the fight. And JD are running down this mid lane. There's nothing left to keep SMLZ alive. Completely unexpected as Loken lunges forward. Passive for 25 minutes. But the moment he sees an opening, he strikes.
Lil Uzi, that's who he is. Loken, super confident on the Kai'Sa. And you can see it from the Vayne. Picking it up again. And he just recognizes that no matter what comes at him, much like the Matrix, he just dives around
Now
it.
they're looking for the Baron here. Loken has no flash, but they've managed to find the teleport. Holder completes it into 5 and gets destroyed. But SMLZ is back on the map. He's got his health, he's got his mana, he's got the Morgana next to him.
Now there's no vision on the base coming in from the Aatrox. It's important. JD can actually clear out the Baron very quickly, so Rogue Warriors cannot leave this area.
That's the elastic slingshot. Remember, it's a 4 versus 4. Killua trying to get a ward, but finds a LeBlanc instead. SMLZ lands a hit, but that's a LeBlanc. She hops over the wall. Doinby doesn't have his charge. He does have his charge, but a teleport to get it back in. Clid goes over the wall. Might be a little bit too much. He's got the cell division, but he needs to survive. SMLZ steps up. They carry Doinby over the wall. He's got flash, but the stopwatch Loken goes in, and that's actually SMLZ who gets it. Lumao lands the stun, and they finally lock down the kills in the chaos. Doinby and SMLZ are trading it over and over. SMLZ finds one as Kiwi tries to get in, and JD Gaming, they might have lost Yagao, but they have absolutely won the fight.
Playing around Baron so effortlessly. Clid just jumping over the pit saying, we're fighting. We're taking anybody. That was so well played around the Baron for a team in the spring split that would just fumble those plays. Take a look at this. Clid jumps out the pit, you better follow. There's no jungler there, don't burst it down. It sticks around 5,000 HP for some time, that for SMLZ to jump in there too quickly. At this point, you're alone, Brahm's gonna hold it down, and Lumao just handles it so smartly. So for Kiwi, it's pure desperation. I mean, at this point, what can you expect with that?
And I think it looked like pure desperation, not just from Kiwi, but also from SMLZ. He saw Doinby go in. He knew that Kiwi's coming around for the flank. They made the call for the fight. He lunged in on the Kai'Sa, but there was no Morgana to protect him. There was no spell shield. There was no cleanse or summoner spells, and he got destroyed by Loken. 3-0-2. Yes, he got the kill onto Yagao, but that's a LeBlanc. Now there are 4 members of JD with Baron, and they are about to break the base of Rogue Warriors.
It's foreign territory for SMLZ. Usually has the protection there when he's 4-1-0. Finds himself in such a good spot in the game, but his team is so far behind. He needs to be rallied around, but it's just not looking good.
And look at the damage that Loken was able to do on that Vayne. 2 items, more than happy enough to take these trades. SMLZ was able to match it himself, but just wasn't quite enough. Now Yagao going toe-to-toe against Holder, has to leap out of this. Juking around, let's see if he goes for the old 1-2. No, he doesn't. Inside of the minion wave, just playing with the distortion timer. Here comes the team trying to defend him. SMLZ is on the way, but he's headed off. That's the plasma. Yagao finally goes down. But still, JD have got the Baron. What else are they able to take off of this?
They can take quite a bit. I mean, they're trying to chase down. In fact, take a look at this loop. Yeah, just charge right in.
That's the charge. Loken trying to get out of this. Kiwi walks it up. He's got the Glacial Storm. Killua on the side. Cleanse from Loken. He tumbles to the left, but he's got no one to protect him as he ends up going down. Now it's SMLZ's turn to take the fight. Zoom is still doing some big work. He's trying to find it, but that's the big reset.
Oh, he's back.
And Rogue Warriors are able to turn the fight around. As you said, Zoom pops back up, but the ace for Rogue Warriors as they find JD maneuvering around the map. They're running down the mid lane.
These are long death timers. 30 seconds. What can you get with that? This is a cannon minion wave too, and a lot of bruisers. I think this should be game.
That's the needlessly large rod. Again, they're dashing forward. Doinby, he's pretty big. 16 seconds on Loken. They're turning for the inhibitor. They're going to try to equalize this game. Yagao is back up, but Kiwi is already getting out of there. You can see SMLZ wants it. Doinby wants it, but that's not the smart call. That's not the safe play.
It was decisive. I don't know who called it, but knowing that 10 seconds were still there from the returning members, Alok and Ulumao, they didn't want to deal with it. So just take a look at this, because this is actually very difficult for Kiwi, coming in alone, realizing that, you know, scaring away from the fight. Doinby comes right back in and bursts down Loken. That should be freedom right there. Issue there is, Clid carries out, you know, Doinby when he was so close to death. At least they would have been able to respond with that kill, but no matter what. That was actually just a great window for Rogue Warriors to lunge forward.
And again, that's the difference between having someone to protect SMLZ in these fights with the spell shield, stand in front of him and allow him to reset, versus having someone to protect Loken. Zoom tried to body block for that Vayne, but the moment the Vayne goes down, you lose so much damage, especially when Yagao's LeBlanc had already been picked off. 3 items completed on Loken to the 4 items on SMLZ as he's finished off his own Rabadon's death cap. Yagao trying to look for big burst, but these next fights are going to be so tough. Meanwhile, look at the stopwatches from JD Gaming.
Oh my god.
Are they looking for another team fight after having just lost a fight in mid?
They're recognizing the next fight is going to end it all. At this point, if JD lose this fight, knowing that the mid lane inhibitor has been cleaned out, and that mid lane push has been there for Rogue Warriors consistently, that's an easy push. They could have ended it in the last fight. So they're recognizing 4 stopwatches, going for the play. Vayne protection, knowing that the burst coming through from Kled just need a little bit of time to buy for JD to rally around him. So it all comes down to execution, and they've understood that.
It all comes down to one big team fight, one big pick for both of these teams.
He found that teleportation device. Thought I stashed it.
And as these super minions are flooding in, JD Gaming on match point against former teammate Doinby could be on the verge of closing this series out. Their Baron has run out, but they've pushed all the way up to the inhibitors in both mid and bottom. Top still has a tier 2 standing, but JD are still patrolling around the map, hunting for a pick, and buying time for Yagao to look for an assassination of his own.
Yeah, just take a look at them hunting. It kind of harkens back to when Lumao was playing Blitzcrank not so long ago. For them to be doing this, they know that it's going to be around Baron. Baron takes some time, though. 2 minutes is too long if you're trying to deal with Jax in the side lane. So Holder is bottom lane for a reason. Trying to hold Zoomer to the bot side of the map and then just play their cards right. I think Rogue Warriors should have the pressure around Baron very soon.
Now Rogue Warriors, they're setting up their own traps inside of the jungle to defend the tier 2. Recalls from Yagao to try and defend. That's the Void Seeker onto Lumao.
Does so much
Good
damage.
is trying to get out of there too. That's AP Kaisa. Meanwhile, Holder backing away from Zoom as these two top laners, both with teleport, are ready for the next fight. 70 seconds for the Baron, but JD have got vision, and they could be looking for their final buy before this next big objective. And boy, Loken is greedy for it, clearing out jungle camps to try and finish off that final item.
It's a hard road for Loken right now. I'm expecting that the BF sword is actually going towards an Infinity Edge, which would boost him up to 60% crit chance. If he can get that, it's looking very good for him in these skirmishes. That being said, he also has the stopwatch, so it could also be a Guardian Angel. So depends how he looks at it, can go defensively and then just recognize that his team is diving forward. He just needs to hold the fort.
He's scrambling for gold right now. The mid super minion wave is getting pushed in as Yagao hops over the wall. Just a bit of damage onto Kiwi. Yeah, looking for that recall, but Baron is up in 20 seconds. JD are poised around the pit.
Is it Guardian Angel? There we go.
It is the GA completion.
He's got an extra stopwatch on top of that too, because he didn't use the last one, so he has a second chance, maybe a third chance at life.
Meanwhile, Guardian Angel also finished off for Zoom, as those two top laners. We saw Zoom get the solo kill just a moment ago. No Grandmaster's might, but that is the stun landing. And look at the damage that these two are doing. That's the charge. They're racing down to the bottom lane. They're looking for Zoom. Pops the World Ender. They've managed to get him low. He's still got that GA to get out of this. But Rogue Warriors simply race behind JD. The Baron has spawned, but JD can't even get close towards it as they lose a bottom turret.
Worked way too fast. The ultimate coming in from Doinby. There's no way for JD to come in there and help him. So God bless the fact that Zoom was able to get out of there on his own.
Now, SMLZ finishing off the Baron. His Banshees was, or sorry, the Dragon. His Banshees was popped in the meanwhile, so it is 3 dragons to 1. But JD now claim control over the river, claim control over the pit, and there is no charge from Doinby. So it's just going to be a straight front to back if Rogue Warriors want to try to break this open. The middle inhibitor has respawned. Yagao looking for a flank, but this is a trap.
This is an Essence Reaver coming out from Holder, so he's going to be super strong in these fights.
Clid looking for Kiwi, that's the stun. He's knocked up. Meanwhile, Loken looking for one. Yagao goes in onto Killua, and SMLZ finds himself the kill. Zoom trying to get out of this. Meanwhile, Doinby's still alive in the back. SMLZ looking for a little bit more, and Doinby gets out with his life. Holder goes back in, activates the stopwatch. He needs his team to support him. He gets carried onto Loken, who's continuing to kite it around over the wall, but Loken on the chase for SMLZ. 1, 2, 3. Is it going to be 4? He's over the wall, and SMLZ goes down. There's not enough to protect him as Killua was picked off, and in the chaos of the fight, it came down to an individual outplay. Loken saw the opening and he took it, killing SMLZ, killing Killua, killing Rogue Warriors, and now JD are turning onto the inhibitor turret. Doinby trying to get in to deny this. Holder is back up. Loken is trying to get out as best he can, but look at that Vein damage shredding through. That's the ace. The wave is brought in by Clid, and JD Gaming again. It's golf claps all around as the miracle run could be coming to an end with a victory.
Yeah, I don't see Morgana stopping this at all. The best she can do is actually hold the wave, but she's flashing for it.
She's trying to stall this wave out, but JD are turning onto it. Look at the timers. It's 10 seconds for SMLZ. Killua just needs to stall it out, but finally they're turning onto 1.
Get in there.
They're turning onto 2. 5 seconds for SMLZ. If he lands the binding, that's Killer Instinct out. Onto the Nexus. Thumbs up. But they're going for it. The flash, the auto. The Nexus is still standing.
What?
It's still alive. But finally it goes down, and JD close out the series. 3-0 victory over former teammate Doinby and taking 3rd place in the LPL Summer Split.
Just slammed Doinby. Rogue Warriors not having a good playoffs run, but JD monumental.
And as they go to shake hands, it's with a heavy head that Doinby looks upon his former teammates and sees how they have grown, sees how the miracle run is no longer just miraculous, but at this point, we should start considering this an expectation for how powerful this JD Gaming roster is.
First few weeks in the spring split, a lot of expectations there for Rogue Warriors, but none on JD. But we had that interview. Clement was sitting down with Yagao, and all he said, very soft-spoken, that it's not about words, it's about action. That the actions will speak louder, and throughout the entire season, they've done just that. So remember, this is not the end of the road, but this is still a pretty sweet taste. Coming out and taking 3rd place over Rogue Warriors Rogue Warriors have a lot of learnings to do going into the gauntlet run.
They've got just a few days to prepare for their last, what could be their last best of 5 of the entire year.
Being said, it's not the last time they play in Beijing.
Yeah.
2019 will be their city. Alongside RNG, they will be playing in Beijing, so warm up to the crowd because they're getting warmed up to you.
I mean, I think we're all getting warmed up to JD Gaming after their summer split. This was the first team to take a win off of Royal Never Give Up after summer split finals, after MSI.
That's true.
JD Gaming comes into their home arena, says, hey, you can't just take all of this. We're sharing this glory. And while they might have gotten only 3rd place in the summer split, this is still something that has to be celebrated for a team that barely made it into playoffs in spring.
It's definitely a medal to their growth. A medal to what is spring split run. Strong players still have a chip on their shoulders, need to prove a lot to their audience, to their fans, because, you know, every time we start a game and JD's playing, you hear a loud cheer.
Yeah.
From your manager, but barely anything to follow that. But as the season's gone on and progressed, you're hearing more people chanting, more people yelling. You're seeing the Zoom signs out there. Yagal's got a lot of following there, and that's just mostly based off not just the players' growth, the organization backing them up with Coach.
Yeah, and a lot of that backing is because of how they play as a team, how they move as a collective unit. They're willing to sacrifice a little bit during the lane, a little bit during rotations and mid-game, so that they can play as a team. And the best example, I think, is this first team fight that we've got for you in that Game 3 against Rogue Warriors, just forcing Rogue Warriors into making bad decisions every which way.
I just love this. Clay playing around with his passive at this point, and you know that the rest of JD are going to follow through, carrying Doinby over. And at that point, yeah, sure, you're able to assassinate LeBlanc, but they, as a squad, will isolate these players, and they force SMLZ down a very dark path.
And that was Lumao getting onto SMLZ's face and putting up the door, saying, you want to attack my carry, you got to go through me. You might have picked off Yagal faster than I could react, but hey, I'm here to keep Loken alive. And again, JD Gaming, they just find these openings. We have to remember, if you saw the gold graph, Rogue Warriors were controlling the game for almost the entire match since that early laning phase. Then there was the massive spike in which JD won, and immediately it swung back when Rogue Warriors found another opening.
So 2 points on that. I mean, it talks about when we were talking about the strength of JD really early on, when they find themselves in a 15-minute deficit, they can still fight, and that's a great example of that. That's them saying that no matter what deficit we have, we still have a great composition and headstrong players to force fights and pull it in our advantage. So that's what we saw for JD. This started as a great team fight and engage for Rogue Warriors, pushing them back into the lead. So immediately taking down Loken, made it so they could segue into a wonderful fight. And this is where the debate started from Rogue Warriors, because they took that merry road down the mid lane, took the inhibitor tower. A few members stuck around thinking that they can take the Nexus. A few of them was like, actually, no, head back, go head back. That's not going to be the case at all.
10 seconds until the Vayne with 3 items is back up. There's already the LeBlanc and the Braum that we've got to worry about.
It's a dangerous game because in that situation, it's 28 seconds on the Aatrox. And some teams will play around that. I know RNG did that when they were going up against TLP, saying that we can actually force a fight pretty easily on the few members that are going to be coming up just random times. But Rogue Warriors didn't want to take chance. That would be a poor situation if they got that gold lead, but not willing to just take it and go home.
And I think that's the biggest differentiator between these two teams, because JD were in the exact same situation. When they want to fight just a few minutes later, pushed up to the Nexus, 10 seconds until that 4 or 5 item, Kaisa is back up, and JD, they say, we're not going to play it safe. We're 2 up in this series. We're going to close this game out.
That was pretty dicey.
And even the cameraman weren't like, we don't even know the numbers on this. We're going to back out. Maybe we should go back in.
Do we stop the music? Do we go back into the game?
It says victory. Do we bring that back down? Here's the fight that started that off, though. And it's a fight on 2 fronts. Rogue Warriors get split, but JD keep the core of their team collected.
And the communication here was kind of poor for Rogue Warriors because, remember, Essence Reaver was picked up by Holder. He was actually in a really good position to just jump into the backline, just throw up countless counter-strikes, but at that point, Assassination's already gone through on Doomby. He's not dead, but he had to go run it packing back home because the fight's now essentially over now that he's not there. But he goes in, and Holder goes in anyways. So for them, it was a lot of scraps, a lot of weird communication points, because if they came in as a squad towards around Baron fight, then it would have been great. If they had held on a little bit longer until Kled comes back, because he still has ult, he can roll right back in, then there's something you can rally around. But at that point, it was just complete breakdown.
And normally we would say, well, you know, it's only week 7, it's week 8, there are a few more weeks before playoffs and they can continue to grow. Raz, playoffs is done.
It's done.
That's it. There's one best of 5 left for Rogue Warriors in the Worlds qualifier, the regional qualifier that's happening in under a week. If they want to continue to play with Holder and try to rally around that strength, they're going to have to make a quick turnaround, because you were saying yourself before this game, if they drop 0-3 in this series, we've got to start having some very serious conversations about what our third Worlds representative could be, because JD Gaming have defeated EDG and Rogue Warriors in best of 5s now once. If they could do it again, they go to Worlds.
Yeah, it's such a short amount of time to find out something that was wrong with your team that you didn't necessarily see in the regular season.
Yeah.
Because in the regular season, they were #1 in the West. They were just surging out ahead in the Western Conference, but when you finally get into the playoff gauntlet, get smacked by an Eastern Conference team, get smacked by another Eastern Conference team, you're realizing that the experience just wasn't there during the regular season. You had just a few weeks in cross-conference, but the moment you go back into the regular conference play, you're just like, well, we're doing very well. This is our team style. So for Rogue Warriors, the 1 week that you have, hopefully the scrims actually work in your favor, and hopefully the decision between Holder and Mouse gets made quickly.
Yeah, and to come back to that team style conversation, we got to talk once again about this guy right here. We did not get to see the fire today. We did not get to see Doinby jump out of his chair, shout, yell, laugh excitedly. Even in game 1, before things started to take a sour turn, he looked to be calm and subdued. Has the fire for Rogue Warriors finally been put out?
Only because if you're getting that challenged that much, remember when he jumps up, it's because after he's recognized the game is over, the series handily won towards him. So every single time he's dancing, he's like, all right, I don't need to focus about it anymore. But this was just pure focus from Doinby because his team was completely outmatched. And so congratulations for JD. They forced the entirety of Rogue Warriors in the back foot, and they might have the same ability to do that again very soon.
Yeah, well, they'll have 5 or 6 more days to prepare for that next matchup, if it even is going to be JD Gaming, because they have to go through EDG first. Our MVP for that victory goes to Loken on his Vayne, suffering so much in laning phase, but it was one play. It was flashing onto the Kaisa when there's a Sejuani and a Morgana, then dodging everything that was thrown at him to force him out of the fight and enable them to take those final kills.
I was just hoping that the enemy team would just press S and just give him the kills at that point, because that was just pretty damn sick. So I liked what I saw from Loken. I thought Loken in this game was very damn focused on what his job, what his role was, going to a more defensive stance when the game was secured, or at least when it was looking very good for him. So there we go. He showed why he can play the Vayne pick. We had a few Vayne players. One is easy. That's Uzi.
Yeah.
The other one is LWX, where you say, actually, you know, you might not want to do that.
Maybe don't play.
You might want to hold up now. But now Loken is saying he's maybe given the access, that key. You know, in elementary school, the teacher said, you know, you go into the bathroom, but you need this
the bathroom
key.
pass.
Yes.
Are we saying?
I think Home gave him that pass to play Vayne.
Are we saying Vayne? You need a bathroom pass to play Vayne.
You're under very heady critique.
But you also need a buddy to go down the hall.
That's true.
Because just like that, you had Lumao protecting him that entire time to lock it down. Let's take a look at the remaining games for the LPL summer season. Again, with this victory, JD have taken 3rd place, leaving us with 1 best of 5 left. The grand finals. Royal Never Give Up versus Invictus Gaming.
September 15th. I've been waiting for this series for a very long time, since Spring Split semifinals, where you saw Invictus Gaming going up against RNG, but they didn't have the Shy. And bringing in Duke at that time was bad because they didn't play with Duke at all during the regular season, so it was just an emergency push-in, and you're like, well, let's hope that he just has the practice. Now there's no more excuse. You're back in action. I want to see what happens. Funny enough, remember the whole Invictus Gaming rumors in 2017 started when RNG went to Worlds and saying, wait, we're getting smashed in scrims by Invictus Gaming. It started from there. That's when the Invictus Gaming rumor started, and we finally get to see if they're up to snuff on the big stage.
It has been that long since we have seen this team just grow and accelerate. But still, big win over to RNG. Again, you can see our Worlds points. Royal Never Give Up and Invictus Gaming have auto-qualified into Worlds, if not off of the first place victory, off of the seed itself, off of points. Just behind that, you've got Rogue Warriors, I believe, in third over Edward Gaming. They should have the higher seed. And just behind that is Edward Gaming and JD Gaming.
Yeah, and let me tell you immediately, they don't have 110 points. So JD do have to actually start from the bottom of the gauntlet run, going up against Edward Gaming.
First, yeah.
So that's going to be fun to see immediately if EDG can jump right back up, because that set already happened in the semifinals. EDG got outclassed by JD. And so that all starting off after the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to look on towards, so let's push that nice dessert away for now, and we can just focus on the finals coming up real soon.
You've got to prep that souffle, make sure it's nice and ready in the I don't know how to make souffle.
I have no idea. You tried, though.
You
got to prep something.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning into this third place match. Congratulations, JD Gaming, for taking the victory, and we wish RW the best of luck turning things around in regional qualifiers. But on behalf of myself, Raz, and the whole production crew, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the finals in just a few days.